Hello, this is J183, and this is the 5th episode of my Pierre Gasly Career mode on F1 2016. So, this is episode 5, which is the Spanish Grand Prix, and as we go into the track optimization test, it's not quite fully purple, but I think it's going to be good enough for a purple score. Yeah, it is. So that's the 50 resource points achieved for that. And now we'll go on to the qualifying pace test. I'm stuck behind Felipe Nasr slightly. My corner cut to no end in a chicane, but ignore that. And it looks like we're going to be getting a green score. I'm not sure if it's going to be purple or not, but it certainly will pass the test. Yep, green score. We got 13th on the grid, it guesses, and then the resource points will take us up to 261. So we're getting close to the next upgrade. I skipped qualifying, which is why there's no resource points for P2 and P3. And then onto the laptop. It's I don't have enough for any upgrades yet. So yeah, into qualifying now. I decided to try and get some slipstream on a Grosjean. This is the end of my first run in qualifying, so I haven't set a time yet, but I've been in the slipstream with Grosjean the whole lap, which is a good thing to do because slipstream is ridiculous on this game. So the first run puts me 6th place, just ahead of Grosjean actually, who's just finished his lap, and that was my best of the qualifying session, which is pretty disappointing because it left me, I can't even see yet. Sergio Perez has a penalty, but I'm 13th, but that'll become 12th when Perez gets his 5 places.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91. Or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult.
So race strategy then, under fuel a lot, it looks like a 2-stop, and thanks that I'm out the top 10, so it means I can try and 1-stop actually, rather than do the 2-stop, because it was pretty close between the 2 times. There's not much in it, but now onto the race start. Spain isn't one of my strongest, so what can we do from 12th on the grid? Lights out and away we go. It's a average start compared to cars around me. Button gets a decent one ahead of me, so there's science. But I can get in the slipstream with Jensen Button and put it into rich mix. We've got the very light car, and we're going to send one up the inside of Button into turn 1, make it 3 wide with science on the outside as well. There's a little bit of jostling ahead, Massa, Alonso and Bottas. I'm going to try and go around the outside of everyone, then slow it down a bit, take the inside line. Alonso understeers wide, and I'm up into 8th. Can we make that 7th, right, overtaking Massa into turn 4? Yes, we can. Raikkonen, it's only the Mercedes, Red Bulls and Ferraris ahead of me at this point. So it's been a very good start from 12th to 7th. And then Raikkonen braking very early into that corner. But it looks like I'm going to be able to maybe put one up the inside. It's going to be a bit of a lunge if it does come off. And no, it doesn't. But it looks like Hamilton, whichever Mercedes in the lead, is completely run away at this point. But now onto the end of lap 3, Raikkonen and Verstappen are battling. Vettel's now dropped to 6th, and I'm going to send one around the outside of the chicane, which really compromises his run, and should mean that I get the better run to the pit straight. DRS is enabled at this point. The top 2 have pulled away, or the top 3 I should say. So there's a DRS on Vettel, we're in the slipstream. Verstappen and Raikkonen are battling up ahead as well. Raikkonen takes position from Verstappen. I can take position from Vettel and up into 6th place. On the medium tyres, everyone in the top 10 should be 2-stopping, I'm on 1-stop, so it's looking good at this point. And Verstappen just ahead, and Raikkonen, who've just been jostling. Looks like Ricciardo and Rosberg are battling over 2nd, and Hamilton's well off in the lead. So Hamilton looks like he's got this one wrapped up, unless he has a mechanical issue as he had in China a few races ago. But now, can we get a better run than Verstappen out of this corner? Take the wider entry, which gives a much better exit, and it looks like we're close enough to do a lunge. And can we send one up the inside of Verstappen? Yes, we can. And Gasly against Verstappen. Verstappen holds it on the outside, and he's going to reclaim 5th place. Not quite close enough at the moment. At the end of halfway through lap 4, we got the DRS though, and that should give us the boost we need. He's got DRS on Raikkonen, but no slipstream because he's a bit too far back. So I'm able to send one up the inside, get up into 5th place now. So my pace at the start of the Spanish Grand Prix has been pretty good, I would say, compared to the qualifying pace. But now here comes Verstappen once again. Raikkonen's pitted, so we're up into 4th, but that's only momentarily until Verstappen passes me on lap 6. So yeah, Spain isn't one of my strong tracks. It's probably one of my weakest, to be honest, so I wasn't expecting this good pace at the start of the race. Now Verstappen pits in, and this is the point where the race became slightly less interesting from my point of view, because I was on a completely different strategy. Hamilton also pitted that lap, so Rosberg leads, but in a Rosberg's pit, we've cut a lot into the future, so lap 11 now, and Hamilton is right behind me. Sainz is pit from behind as well. Hamilton, who's made up the 20 seconds he lost in the pit stop, and there he goes straight away. So yeah, this race became slightly less interesting at this point because I was on a different strategy. So I was out of sync with everyone, which meant I was never really anywhere near any cars. I'm still 2nd at this point. Perez is in 3rd, who is also on the 1-stop. So pitting in this lap, Hamilton's pitting ahead of me as well. So this is my only stop of the race, pitting onto hard tyres at the end of lap 13. So I'm down to 5th at this point after a few cars on the one stop I've driven past, but pitting in onto the harder tyres. Oh no, sorry, onto the medium tyres. I was mistaken there, I decided to go for the 2-stop. So now I lead again because Hamilton made another pit stop. I don't know what strategy they're doing, I think it must be a 3-stop or something. But Hamilton has the pace to make up the time he lost in the extra pit stop, and he goes up the inside of the Mercedes corner, as it's probably now known after the 2016 race. And he doesn't crash into me this time as he did to Rosberg in real life, and he takes to leading back on lap 23. And now Rosberg at the end of the same lap is going to reclaim second with the DRS and the Mercedes engine. I'm in lead mix to save a bit of fuel at this point. So I'm down to 3rd. Perez is on the 1-stop, so he has pitted onto the hard tyres. I've got one more to go, but I'm going to be pitting onto softs at the end of the race. And here it is, lap 26. Onto the soft tyres. Going to come out behind Ricciardo and Perez, I think. So with about 7 laps to go. The soft tyres, I don't know how big the gap's going to be, but I should be able to just attack. Perez is on old hards, so is Ricciardo, so I show up the pace over the pair of them. And it's going to be a chase to try and reclaim maybe even a podium from this. There goes Perez. Ricciardo's already gone through. Sainz is in 6th, but I'm going to come out well ahead of him, it seems. I've got rich mix at the end because I've been saving fuel in the middle stint. And now onto lap 28, 2 laps later, and I've already closed up the gap to Perez. I'm not in DRS yet, but you can just see there's the fastest lap, and with rich mix and the slipstream effect, it is amazing, the closing speed, even though he's got a Mercedes engine in that Force India. The closing speed is ridiculous, and hopefully I can get 4th place back off him through the, maybe even this lap, as you can see the extra grip I've got through this long turn 3. And that's about half a second gained on Perez in the first sector alone. Slightly down on my previous purple lap, but half a second off Perez now, and this should be getting done this lap possibly. So braking later into turn 5, the understeer corner, and get a much better exit. You just see the traction, and Perez has to yield the place, and I'm back up into 4th place, which is on to the end of the race now. It's my best result, or joint best result with China. So that is a good result for Pierre Gasly, and a lot of points in the championship.
Complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And now
So the results said Hamilton and Rosberg doing a 3-stop each. I think Rosberg's on 2, then Ricciardo's on a 2-stop as well. I'm on 2, then the only person who saw through to 1-stop was Perez and Hulkenberg, actually, 2 Force Indias. They managed to get 5th and 8th, so yeah, Hamilton, Rosberg, Ricciardo, myself, Perez, and Sainz getting a good 7th place. Both Williams missing out on points, which is good because they're the people we're battling really. No retirements, and onto the championship, we jump above quite a lot of people up to 7th place. Hamilton overtakes Rosberg as well, so it's very close to the top now. And the constructors, it should look good as well because Williams scored nothing and Toro Rosso got 18 points between us, I think. So me and Sainz doing the business, and yeah, we've closed up a lot to Williams. But now, because that race was pretty average, I decided that I would include the next race of the season in the same episode because I didn't want like an 8-minute video, to be honest. And onto the rivalry and everything. Alonso was my new rival, but we managed to get a lot of points over him as he had quite a bad race. But yeah, I thought I'd do the Monaco race as well, so let's get into that.
Motor racing has come a long way since the first Grand Prix of the early 20th century. We have faster cars, bigger circuits, highly trained drivers who've dedicated their lives to racing. But still, we return here. Still, it remains the most desired victory in Formula One. Still, we race the Monaco Grand Prix. And as the drivers start thinking about getting a good start and how on earth to get through Saint-Devote in one piece, I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, if we might be seeing a safety car or two today.
Well, you wouldn't exactly bet against it, would you? Statistically, it is pretty common, of course. About 80% of all Monaco Grand Prix will have at least one safety car. And that's despite the incredible work of the marshals around here, who you'll often see lifting cars out of the way just under the yellow flag conditions. The teams will always plan for the worst case scenario though, and they'll be making sure various caution periods are built into their strategy models for the race.
Okay, it's a short run to Saint-Devote, and you know what Monaco's like, so try to defend this lead.
So, as you can see, I managed to put it on pole position. Pierre Gasly's first pole in F1, and it's at Monaco. So that is a very, very pleasing thing to do. So on pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix, it was raining in qualifying, which is why we had so much pace. But now, with 5 red lights, it's the most important start of the season. Can we claim this first place off the line? And then away we go. Ricciardo and Verstappen just behind. So it's a Red Bull family 1, 2, 3 at this point. Yeah, I managed to reclaim first place off the line, and hopefully all the cars behind me have been slowed a lot. So hopefully we'll run off into the distance at this point. And maybe even claim that first win, because it's incredibly difficult to overtake at Monaco. I don't think my dry pace will be anywhere near as good as the wet pace, but pole position was absolutely amazing. I had it by about half a second from the 2 Red Bulls. So 39 laps though, and it's a very difficult track to avoid mistakes on as we come through the first sector now, and the second sector of the first lap. We've already got quite a gap to Verstappen, but now onto the end of lap 1, and I actually, coming around Rascasse, I make a huge mistake, clip the inside and spin out, and for some reason I don't ghost, as you would normally see in an online race especially, so that causes an enormous roadblock behind me. Quite a lot of drivers lost their front wings. I managed to keep the lead because I did a little 3-point turn, but now onto lap 2, Verstappen is now second. Magnussen's been disqualified after that roadblock that I think I might have caused a lot, but Verstappen second. Hamilton managed to take advantage of that roadblock and jumped up to 3rd place. I don't know how Magnussen's been disqualified, but yeah, 21 runners now, and first place still. I got away with it slightly after that big mistake at the end of lap 1, so hopefully I can have less of those throughout the rest of the race. But now the virtual safety car has come out, because I think there's still a lot of cars stuck at Rascasse from that turn 1 incident. And here it is then. I just clipped the inside of the wall with my rear right, and just caused a bit of a roadblock, do a 3-point turn. No one overtakes me somehow, which is incredibly lucky, and I actually probably gain advantage. Here's Rosberg's point of view, and everyone just stops in Rascasse. Rosberg gets punted and loses part of his front wing. You just see behind, everyone on the grid just doesn't expect it, and they all get stuck. Here's a view from a Sauber, I think this is NASA, and that's Magnussen just ahead, and you can see he's probably stuck a lot now. So yeah, interesting that no one overtook me. It's a bit broken physics, I'd say. But now onto lap 11, we've cut quite a long way in, and my front wing I've taken a bit of damage to, and Verstappen and Hamilton are right on my rear end now, which is not good. So I'm defending quite a lot now. There's only really 2 places to overtake around Monaco, which is, one of them is right here through the tunnel, and the other one is down into turn 1 at Saint-Devote. So this is a place we're going to have to defend. Verstappen's buzzing all over the rear end. He fakes to go for a lunge, but doesn't actually put it off. So I managed to keep first place for now, ahead of Verstappen and Hamilton. But then a few laps on, 3 laps further on into the race, and once again Verstappen is right behind me coming into the tunnel. So I decided to go defensive this time, sticking to the left, and this is what actually happened. Verstappen, I left in the space, and then once again I clipped the wall for the 2nd time this race. Hit the wall again. Verstappen and Hamilton go through. I managed to do a flick spin to get back into the right direction and 3rd place, but that was pretty annoying because I took yet more damage to the front wing. And there's even more. Both end plates are yellow now, and I've lost a lot of time. I'm about 11 seconds off, but now we're not going to come into the pit, sorry. I'm not sure why, because my front wing is probably costing me a lot of time, but now Raikkonen's right all over the back of me on lap 20, and so the team are telling me to pit, but I don't. I ignore them, and Raikkonen is probably going to overtake me at this point. He's got DRS, he's got the probably better tyre wear, because my tyre wear is... Oh, it's not Raikkonen, sorry. My bad, it's Gutierrez, who's a lap down, and that just shows you how my lack of pace. And a lapped car, if Gutierrez can keep up, I take even more damage to my front wing. It's not going well, so on lap 22 I decided to peel into the pits and repair everything. Raikkonen's still quite a bit back. I'll lose a position in the pit stop, but everyone hasn't made their stops yet because it was raining qualifying, so everyone started on super soft tyres, which meant they could go a long way into the race before pitting onto ultra softs. So Button, Raikkonen and Rosberg are probably going to go past me yet. Here they are. And on the out lap now, pushing on the ultra softs, I actually clipped the wall on the inside yet again, get a puncture, lose part of my front wing. So that has ruined any chances of getting a podium really in the Monaco Grand Prix, which is pretty disappointing after getting pole position, but it just wasn't to be in the race. I'm quite incident prone in Monaco, and it's not really my best track. I just got a good 1 lap pace if I get it all hooked up, which happened in qualifying. So Now, on the one lap after the previous stop, I'm stopping again to repair the front wing and repair the left wing puncture that I got. I'm going to drop now to 18th place, which is what a difference 2 laps can make from 3rd to 18th, especially around Monaco, where overtaking is pretty difficult. But now I've got ultra soft tyres, I can push to the end, and now we're right behind Palmer. He's going so slow that it almost catches me out through the swimming pool section. Into Raskas, and I'm right ahead behind him. It looks like I'm going to be able to get DRS and pass him into turn 1, but now what you can't see in the mini-map though is that in about 7th and 8th place there's Pascal Wehrlein and Rio Haryanto are actually in 7th and 8th at this point in Manners, so you can see on the mini-map now going through into the tunnel. They're in about 7th and 8th, so there's an enormous queue behind them because they've got the much slower car than me and everyone else on the grid, which is helping me out a lot because people like Ricciardo, the Force Indias, I think Grosjean as well, are all stuck in this train. And now onto lap 32 I have caught up the train, and it begins with Ricciardo and Alonso, and I managed to send one right up the inside of Raskas. That was a bit of a lunge, and Ricciardo's going to hold it around the outside, but then into Anthony knows, and I managed to force him out up into 15th. So there's still points on the cards if I can just overtake every one of these cars in the next like 6 laps before the end of the race. So now I'm right behind Alonso into the Lowe's hairpin. I go for the move into the Lowe's hairpin on an orthodox place, but now Hamilton has caught up as well. I bang into the side of Alonso. We're on the outside now to the corner of the tunnel. Hamilton is right behind us, lapping us. So we've all got to slow down. And what a difference, as I say, like 10 laps make. I was racing Hamilton a bit ago, and now he's lapping me. So I give him the position, accidentally send one up the other side of him, which cost me a bit of time, make a bit of contact. But now, much like Verstappen did in the real life race, I'm going to try and use Hamilton as because he, as you can see, he's having to get through all this traffic, so everyone's backing off, which means hopefully I can take advantage and follow Hamilton through all the traffic and get a decent haul of points. So now, overtaking Hulkenberg into, that was a bit of an unorthodox, going like round the inside of the second part of the Nürburgring chicane, Hulkenberg's inside, slight corner cut. Now a dive bomb on Grosjean into the corner before Lowe's hairpin, forcing him out wide, probably a bit illegal, but we'll gloss over it. Up into 12th, and now Valtteri Bottas is the next car. There's still the 2 Manners haven't been overtaken. Hamilton is just ahead of Bottas. He's behind Massa as well. So the Williams, as I said, Button is out of the race now from ahead of me, which is a bit disappointing. And we'll have a look at what that is in just a second. But the Williams are my main constructors' rivals at this point. So getting ahead of so Valtteri Bottas is ahead now. This is going to be a very late braking, and that is an incredibly illegal move. I move on because the FIA don't seem to care, because I've completely corner cut and overtook Bottas on the inside. Haryanto is now in 8th, holding up Hamilton, so I can catch up immensely to Massa. I'm practically pushing them all through the swimming pool section. Some at the inside of Felipe Massa, but then Hamilton and Haryanto are slowing everyone down. Massa's unlapped himself, but then Hamilton still has the inside. Hamilton clips the wall actually. He almost loses it, and then he managed to reclaim it, but Massa's now going to overtake Haryanto. Haryanto's blue flagging everywhere, so he drops about 4 positions. That's heartbreak for him because he's dropped out of the points now. So, but luckily Wehrlein is. But here's Button, I think he has a puncture, and he just gets absolutely tag teamed by the Saubers and the Ferrari. So he's out the race from up ahead of me. I think he was had some damage before that, but now Massa's been blue flagged. I'm going to go for a dive bomb. That is ridiculously late. I go up the inside and then round the outside, but he doesn't leave the space on the outside. Ricciardo then crashes right behind. Here it is in the replay. Massa he understeers into my side. He gets spun. Ricciardo then just hits the wall for some reason. Haryanto's there as well. Here it is from Ricciardo. So Haryanto has just allowed a car through. Ricciardo goes for the move, but Haryanto blocks it late, and then everyone crashes. And that is going to be not good. But now onto the final lap, the final corner. Wehrlein's right there, but I'm not quite close enough, especially after this wing damage I got at some point. But now Hamilton has won the race. I'm a lap down, so I finish on lap 38. And that's going to be 8th place, which is decent damage limitation.
Okay, I'm a bit gutted with that result, but let's work hard and we'll get it together for the next race.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And now let's
So
take
Lewis
a look
Hamilton
at
wins the
driver's
Monaco Grand Prix.
standings.
Raikkonen gets his
Lewis Hamilton takes
first good
over
result of
the
the season, I
lead
think, in
Drivers'
second place for
Championship
Ferrari.
after an excellent result.
Verstappen drops
And now
behind
I'd like to
Raikkonen
ask
after he
you,
made two
Anthony
pit stops for some reason.
Davidson, who was
Sainz
your
with a very good
driver of
result
the
in
day?
fifth.
Well, Jolyon Palmer
I managed to
did a
get
great job
eighth. Sorry,
in the field
Verline
today, so my vote
managed to
goes
get
him.
seventh. So
And
a
now
lot
let's
of
take a
points
look
for
at the
Manor. There's
constructors'
a
standings.
disqualification and a retirement at the bottom there.
Here's how
I retained
things
seventh
look
in the
at
championship.
drivers'
Hamilton
table.
reclaims his
Lewis
lead from
Hamilton
Vettel.
takes over the lead of the
Sainz
Drivers'
moves up to
Championship
eighth, just 5
after an
points behind me
excellent
now.
result.
Bottas
Now
is
then,
a few
Anthony
points ahead,
Davidson,
so
who
hopefully
was your
that's our next
driver of
aim.
the day?
And
Well,
Verline
I'd
jumps
give
by
it to
everyone.
Lewis Hamilton.
Gutierrez with points
You
as
know,
well.
he was
Verline
just the
up
kind of
into
drive you'd
16th with
expect
those
from a
6 points he
multiple world
got,
champion.
which is very
To
good
the
for Sauber.
constructors
Still,
then.
the Sauber,
Mercedes
not
have
for Sauber,
extended
for
their
Manor,
lead at
sorry.
the top of the
Still,
standings.
Haryanto, the 2
Meanwhile,
Saubers and the 2
Ferrari have
Renaults
improved
without
their
points this
position.
season,
A
which would be
strong
disappointing,
weekend
especially
from
for
them as
Renault,
they
who are meant to be a
fight
bigger
their
team
way
in
towards
Manor,
the top.
and
For
Haas
all this
especially.
drama, you'd be
Now,
mad
with
not to
constructors,
join
we
us
still
for the
get
next
5th
race.
place after
We hope
Hamilton,
to see you
after
then.
Button's retirement,
Take care.
sorry. Mercedes extend their lead, and Ferrari jump above Red Bull, but now onto the resource points. I'm up to 755. I lose a thing to Sainz after he had a good result in 5th. Then onto the upgrades, I think I'm going to be able to choose something. So I beat Alonso thanks to the qualifying, because I got pole position, etc. So I can choose anything I want. I'm going to go for the chassis weight, I think. But there's my results this season. Only one result outside the points, which is something I look to keep consistent in the points this season. But I'm going to choose the chassis weight engine, I think, the engine cover. And that is going to be the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed the double episode. I've been JM183. Leave a like if you want to see more, and subscribe for more videos like this. This has been JM183, and I will see you next time.